possibly the last time for a little while. The 704. Episode 16 is here. Back to the normal little setup. Got combat sports once again. A whole lot happened in that world. We got music, a huge week in music. And of course, NFL and college football. And of course, the little roundup at the end. I'll talk about basketball later when I get to that. For my college students, this is your last week. For I guess anywhere except for where I attend. Congratulations, you made it, or maybe you didn't make it. Maybe you failed through the entire Zoom university semester. Just wishing you good luck. Happy Thanksgiving. What else? For my people like me, that this is simply just a short intermediate break in between the rest of the semester and the carnage that has been done to our GPAs this first fall 2020 semester, if that's what you want to call it. We're all in this together, in the words of High School Musical. Hopefully we make it. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm ready to go back to in-person, normal college student stuff. If you know, you know. But back to the regularly scheduled activities. Like I said, I've listed the topics. Might be the last one for a while in the 704. We'll see. We might have something, might not. Then the later on portion of this week concerning the NBA, we'll see. Let's get straight to it. And we're going to start off. We're going to switch it up this week. Normally I do the NFL as the main event. But this week we're going to do the NFL to start us off. And the Thursday night game was the Seattle Seahawks versus the Arizona Cardinals. Trying to remember here. Seahawks take it 28-21. Take control of the division. Russell Wilson, of course, not his finest day, but a very accurate day. 23 for 28, 197, 2 touchdowns. Kyler, not his finest. 29 for 42, 269, and 2 TDs. But good game. Like I said, I think last week, the NFC West is one of the best divisions in football, if not the best. It's one of the best divisions in football, if not the best. Seattle takes control in a huge game. I think they took the earlier matchup too, so I think this is a clean sweep of Arizona for them. That's huge playoff implications there. As everybody knows, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. We somehow managed to beat the Vikings, even though the Vikings are not particularly good this year. 31-28. Andy Dalton returned, gave us 3 touchdowns, but that hit, I actually want to take a break. Anybody that watched that game, that hit on Dalvin Cook was, whew. I mean, Dalvin still had a great day. 27 carries, 115, and a touchdown. Zeke crossed the 100-yard mark for the first time. Cousins actually had a really good game, 314, 3 touchdowns. But we eke it out late. Justin Jefferson continues to have a great rookie year. This entire rookie receiver class has been living up to what their lofty expectations were. We had a good win for the Cowboys, even though we probably should be tanking. I guess we'll take wins how we can get them at this point. Let's see. We got the Browns and the Eagles up next. Browns win 22-17. There's been some crazy weather in Cleveland the past couple of weeks. I think it was snowing last week. This week we had a monsoon of rain. So that means it's Nick Chubb time. Chubb shed the gloves and everything. Had 114, no TDs though. The Browns defense really the past 2 weeks has stepped up and rose to the occasion. I've expected a lot. I think everybody's kind of had a pretty good expectation of this Browns defense being good if they all played to their potential with all of the talent on that defense. And the past 2 games, they've really lived up to that. Carson Wentz, we say this every week. I'm not sure how much longer the Eagles can stick with him. His fall off has been incredible this year. Another 2 interception game. He's playing like a bum. Just to be honest, he's playing like a bum. Great defensive performance for the Browns. They moved to 7-3. The Cleveland Browns means 7-3 is the most 2020 thing. Well, nah, it's not the most 2020 thing, but it's a very much so 2020 thing. The Browns actually being good, actually being contenders in the AFC. I'm not gonna say contenders in the division because the team that we all know is undefeated, and I'll get to when I get to. But NFC East sucks. Eagles suck. You know how it goes. Saints take out the Falcons 24-9. To my surprise, Taysom Hill actually is a quarterback and actually is an NFL quarterback. I know a lot of people had questions. He still had 2 touchdowns on the ground and none through the air, but 18 for 23, 233. Saints did a good job managing around that. Drew Brees ends up with like 11 fractures and a collapsed lung. 11 fractures of his rib. That's insane. I don't know how he threw that touchdown last week, but nonetheless, Saints get a big win this week. Matt Ryan had an awful game due to interceptions. They didn't really do anything on the run. Falcons are just bad. They're just bad. Go shout to Young Koo. I know a lot of fantasy owners love him. Had 250 yards. I know that helped out a lot, but this game was all Saints. Michael Thomas dropped the ball, but still had over 100 yards receiving, so it looks like he might be getting back into a rhythm. But yeah, that's how that went. Saints moved to 8-2. Falcons continue to tank. Joe Burrow and the Bengals took on Chase Young in the Washington football team. I almost called him by the previous name. And the Washington football team actually won. The Bengals, of course, the big story from this game was Joe Burrow. Probably a torn ACL. I haven't gotten any updates yet. Of course, he tweeted out that he was out for the season. The Bengals haven't said that explicitly, but we'll see how that goes. Bengals had absolutely no run game. To tell you how bad the run game was in this game, their leading rusher was the backup quarterback, Ryan Finley, who, if you know him from NC State, is not particularly a runner, but had 1 carry for 19 yards, and that made him the leading rusher for them. That's the type of game it was. But Redskins defense definitely stepped up in this game. They played phenomenal. Chase Young had a pretty good game I saw, so yeah. Good win for Washington. I mean, both of these 2 teams are in the lower half, probably in the lower echelon, if you wanted to say, lower in the power rankings, around that low 20s, high 30s spots. Definitely looking at 2 teams with a top 10 pick. But in the battle between the 1s and 2 from last year, the Washington football team gets the win. Panthers shut out the Lions. This was a big shock to me, but PJ Walker came in, wins his first game. XFL legend, if you know, you know. I'm really still salty that XFL got shut down because of Corona, because it was actually pretty good. It was doing pretty well. They had it run correctly. I know The Rock has it now, so very excited to see that get back up. I think that'll be a great spot for guys that are not in the NFL, besides, I guess, the CFL, or don't want to travel to the CFL, travel to Canada. I think the XFL will be a great league. Feels like free agent guys, those fringe guys to be at. And yeah, PJ Walker, a product. 24 for 34, did throw the 2 interceptions, 258. Not bad. Mike Davis continues to be a very good backup running back. Had a touchdown last night. Or yesterday. Mediocre performance from the Lions. Matt Patricia's seat has to be hot. He's got to be on the hot seat. I don't know if he's got what it takes to be a great head coach in this league. He just hasn't really shown much of anything besides the normal Lions mediocrity. And there's some talent on this team. It's not just a personnel problem, but it's looking like this probably is a coaching problem for the Lions. We'll see how they go on from this. Good win for the Panthers, though. Always nice to see a shutout at home here in Charlotte. Steelers take on the Jaguars. You know how this goes. Steelers 27, Jaguars 3. Chase Claypool is at 10 touchdowns. Deontay Johnson was the star receiver, though, today, even though it was Juju's birthday. 12 receptions, 111 for him. Jake Luton, in at quarterback for the Jaguars, 4 picks. The Jaguars fall to 1-9. Again, man, them and the Jets. You know, who's getting Trevor Lawrence? Who's getting Justin Fields? Yeah, Justin Fields. We'll talk about his performance this week in college football. It wasn't too great. But yeah, Those teams, really making a fantastic effort to get that number 1 overall pick. Very heated competition. Who can lose more? Who can, throw more games? Just a very, very interesting, situation brewing here between the Jaguars and the Jets. Maybe they should have like what's the opposite of the Super Bowl? Loser of that game gets Trevor Lawrence. That would be a very entertaining game, I believe. Anyway, Steelers have been brilliant again this year. The defense dominates again here. Only gave up 3 points for the Jaguars. Picked them off 4 times. They're 10-0. Can they run the table? We'll see. Titans took out the Ravens. This was a big game for me. Titans take them out in overtime. Derrick Henry with another 100-yard game. What happened to Lamar Jackson? What happened to Lamar Jackson? What happened to Lamar Jackson? It's not just Lamar. What happened to this Ravens team? After what the Titans pulled pregame, Harbaugh has to come and be the guy. Which it's great to see your head coach, but where is the heart? Where is the soul of this Ravens team that was seemingly there last year? What happened to that swagger they played with? Because I haven't seen it. Have you seen it? I don't think you've seen it either. My roommate probably hasn't seen it. I don't know what happened to the Ravens. They fall to 6-4 here. Lose. This is a terrible game to lose against the Titans, who you had history with. You should have had all the motivation. They knocked you out in the playoffs. They told you before the game there should have been plenty of motivation to come out and play, lights out and up to their potential, but it just wasn't there. Ravens fans should be very, very concerned because this is a team trending downward. This is a team that's looking like it regressed. Your league MVP, supposed franchise quarterback, the Madden curse apparently has kicked in because it's looking like Lamar has regressed alongside the play calling he's receiving. It's just not a good situation for the Ravens right now. Texans and the Patriots, of course, I have Deshaun Watson on my fantasy team. I benched him, and you know what that means. Deshaun Watson with ballistic 28 for 37, 344, 2 touchdowns through the air. On the ground, 6 carries, 36 yards, and a touchdown. So 3 combined. Cam didn't have a bad day as much as I bragged up him this year. 26 for 40, 365, and a touchdown. But Texans get the win at home. Watson really is the big name from this game. He completely dominated. Please give this man some help. He's a franchise quarterback, but y'all have given him literally almost nothing to work with. Please get this man. You got another great receiver draft coming up. Perfect time for you to get this man some help since you decided you didn't want the best receiver in the league, in DeAndre Hopkins. Please give this man some help so we can have more games like this because he could possibly play at an MVP level if you put weapons around him. Broncos take out the Dolphins. A little bit of a surprise here. Tua pulled so they don't get hurt. Fitzmagic comes back in. But it really was irrelevant. Drew Lock continues to be not very good. Did throw an interception, but didn't do enough to win, though. Melvin Gordon had 15 carries, 84 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he was more of a factor. Also, impressive defensive performance. A lot of great defensive performances this week from certain teams. Broncos, one of them, they moved to 4-6. They get the win here. Chargers, Justin Herbert, Rookie of the Year. Especially with Burrow going down, I don't think there's really any conversation that we had about it. Justin Herbert is the Rookie of the Year. 37 for 49, 366, 2 touchdowns. Dude has... I know a lot of people were saying he was going to be the bust of this group of quarterbacks. I wasn't really on that hype train, as I think I stated a couple episodes ago. I was a believer. I didn't think he was going to be this good. He's been legitimately, off of just his play, you could argue he's been a top 10 quarterback this year, and I don't think that would be outlandish. Dude has been great when he's played. Of course, they were playing the Jets. But it's not like the Chargers have a great record. They moved to 3-7 after this game. The Jets, of course, are 0-10. I don't know if they're going to win a game. Like I said, they really should just have an anti-Super Bowl versus the Jaguars for Trevor Lawrence. The trophy should just be a statue of Trevor Lawrence. And whoever loses, I would love to see how bad that game. That game would be so bad it'd be entertaining with both of them simultaneously trying to lose that game. And actually, they might both be trying, and it might come off looking like they're both trying to lose this game. That's how bad these two teams are. The Jets are awful. Adam Gase, why is he still a head coach? Good win. Shout out to Thee Six product Keenan Allen, 16 receptions, 145 and a touchdown. Shout out to Keenan, Northern Guilford alum. 3-6. Packers in a very good game against the Packers. Goggles pulls it out and in, and overtime they win 34-31. My boy Mike Pittman Jr. fight on. 3 receptions, 66. He got his first touchdown. That's really what I wanted to talk about. Rivers continues to play very solidly. Jonathan Taylor had a great game, 22 carries, 90 yards. A-Rod didn't have a bad game for the Packers. Of course, if you have to put the blame, that fumble by Marquez Valdez-Scantling there in overtime really ends up costing the Packers. Devontae Adams continues to do Devontae Adams stuff. 7 receptions, 106 and a touchdown. Very good game to watch. Both these two teams look like they're going to be headed towards the playoffs, I would say. And we'll see what they'll be able to do there. They're two very interesting, two very enigmatic teams that there's a lot of uncertainty, but they could both be dark horses depending on how they're playing, depending on if they're on or not. Of course, Sunday Night Football, we had the Chiefs and the Raiders. Chiefs get the win late. Patrick Mahomes does Patrick Mahomes stuff. I mean, we know how this goes. Kelsey gets the game winner. He has 8 receptions, 127 and a touchdown. Best time in the league. Mahomes continues his run towards the MVP, 34 for 45, 348, 2 touchdowns, did have an interception. Derek Carr also played a very good game. 275, 3 touchdowns. Darren Waller continues to blossom into one of the better tight ends in this league. Very competitive game, very back and forth game. Again, the AFC West once again. Surprisingly, is a pretty competitive division, I'd say. Even the worst teams in that league, and the Broncos and the Chargers in that division, are pretty competitive, I would say, and have elements on that team that are very good. Of course, the Chiefs just a class above everybody. They move to 9-1, get the big win, in moving towards them clinching a bye in the playoffs, and of course clinching the AFC West title once again. All right, transitioning from the NFL, we're gonna move to music and slight bit of television. Massive week in music. I have a lot from a variety of different genres. Definitely gonna try to incorporate that more into this music. So it's not, of course, I listen to mostly hip hop, so you're gonna hear mostly hip hop and rap. But I listen to a variety of things, so trying to incorporate that and more kind of just general music news to kind of hit all audiences. Because of course, this podcast is limitless. I'm limitless. You should strive to be limitless. Don't put limits. A lot of dope stuff everywhere. So, without further ado, where should I start? I could do chronologically, but I'll just go by my notes. Meek Mill dropped a 4-pack. Of course, I'm one of those people where I need to listen to. I like to listen to music multiple times before I really get my true feelings and true opinions. But I'll first listen. I would say he went 4 for 4. GTA was my standout track from the 4-pack, but good stuff from Meek. I know he's had a lot of bad publicity lately, but this was a nice little sample for his fans. And yeah, I'll get a more definitive. I'll hold off on a low rating because it was only a little 4-pack. But saw stuff from him. Hadn't heard anything from him in a while actually. So well timed 4-pack. And yeah, if you haven't listened to it, I recommend it. I'll get a more definitive opinion as time goes on, as I hear it more. But for first listen, it was pretty good. Lil Uzi Vert and Future just decided to drop the Baby times Baby Pluto. I mean, excuse me, Pluto times Baby Pluto Deluxe just in like the middle of the week. I think it was like a Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe in the middle of like day. Just completely out of nowhere. My feelings on that project have kind of, I think I said it was an 8. I think I'll stick on that 8. The deluxe enhances it a little bit, but I think I'll still stick by that 8. Definitely need to listen to it more before I claim really standout track. I will say off of the original project, Moment of Clarity has definitely been a song I've been going back to. I've definitely been enjoying that one. I think that's one of the better songs. One of the best songs, probably in my top 2 songs on the entire project. But yeah, I mean overall for them, like I said last week, solid project. Enjoyable for both of their fans. I know a lot of Uzi's been very active on Twitter about going back to his old sound, but I kind of hate that. I feel like as an artist you need to evolve, and whatever he chooses as what he wants to do as he evolves is what he should do. You shouldn't really just kind of fall to what all these people are saying. You should listen to your fans, but you don't always have to listen to what might just be a vocal minority. But nonetheless, solid project from them, and yeah. Like I said, I want to diversify the little genres here. Bugatti Beebs and Shawn Mendes dropped Monster. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. A very unexpected collab. It was very short. I know they performed it at the AMAs yesterday, but yeah, if you're into that type of stuff, Bieber and Mendes made a great song. Great message as well. Very interesting message. Definitely hit home to both of their situations, like what they were talking about. So yeah, shout out to them. Great track. Sliding back to hip hop, we had Gucci and Jeezy, Gucci Mane and Young Jeezy, or should I just say Jeezy because he dropped the Young. They had that versus, which may have been the best versus yet. I think they had 1.7 or 1.8 million was their highest like view count. That may be the most. I do not remember if that's the most, but it might be. But honestly, from an entertainment standpoint, and they were playing classics. I think I forgot how deep Jeezy's bag is and how many great songs he has. I would say if I had to do a matchup, even though I love Gucci, I love both of them as artists. I mean, the legends. I think Jeezy won the verses, but really it was just good vibes. They played so icy together, dropped the beef, so that was great to see. It got a little tense after Gucci played The Truth, as we all kind of expected. For people claiming that's a Gucci clone, I think after that we can pretty much settle that this is not a Gucci clone, or at least this Gucci clone has the same wiring as old Gucci, because it almost got ugly. Like I said, this could go sideways. It almost went sideways. But yeah, it was a great event. A lot of entertainment, a lot of great music, and yeah, everybody loves verses. So actually, I'll send this out to the audience. Tell me which verses you would like to see. It can be old school, it can be new school. What is the verses you would want to see? Which 2 artists would you like to see go up next? I'm very interested in that. There have been a lot of outlandish claims, a lot of disrespect being thrown. I'll hold off on all that, but you tell me who you would like to see in a versus. Yeah. Moving on, BTS dropped the album B. It was very good, a lot of chill vibes, very relaxed, very kind of soothing album. I think that's a good word for it. It was very relaxed and soothing. Disease is the song. I think that was the one. Even though the title track was pretty good, I think Disease was definitely the one. That's the one. That's my favorite song probably off of the album, though they were all pretty good. And yeah, it was a very cohesive project for them. And yeah, the best band in the world for a reason, the biggest band in the world for a reason. They've been killing it this year, even though this has been my favorite year of them musically. They've blown up. There's not much more to say. You guys know them. For those looking to check them out, I promise they're more than what the fans on Twitter say. Just block that out. Appreciate them for what they are musically. They're not all this crazy stuff. So yeah, just give them a chance if that's something you're interested into. But yeah, shout out to BTS. St. John dropped While the World Was Burning. My top songs I think off of first listen there was Ransom and Quarantine Wifey. Both of those were features. I think Kalani and Six and Black, excuse me, I always want to call him Six Black instead of Black. Kalani and Black were on Ransom. Quarantine Wifey I think had Jid, who sounds so much like Kendrick. Even though he's his own artist and Jid's his own great artist, and he's more than just that baby Kendrick moniker. But man, he really sounded like. But it was a very good track. Very good project. I think I give it, I would say maybe like a, I feel like I need to listen to it more before I give a rating. But I'll drop a rating. I think it was like an 8.3. I'm going to give it off a first listen. It wasn't one of my top projects for the year. It's really my first actual St. John project I've listened to fully. But I think it was a lot of good stuff. The lower half of it, I think, was really picked it up compared to that first half. Not the first half was bad. We actually got a good Kanye feature, unbelievably. At least on first listen, it looks like it was a good Kanye feature. We'll see if it actually was, but yeah. St. John 8.3. Go check it out if you're into that. Almost R&B-ish, I dare say. A little bit of that R&B. It's kind of the new R&B. It's not classic R&B. If you're kind of into that, feel free to go check that out. A little bit of rapping there too. So yeah. Of course, I'd be amiss if I didn't talk about Megan Thee Stallion. I did not listen to Good News. I've heard varying reports from it was amazing to this was mid. I think the consensus was it's not as good as Fever. I think Fever's still our top project. But I think it was, of course I haven't listened to it, but if I had to get like an average of the consensus, it was a pretty good album. A lot of people enjoyed it. Just not her best or Meg at her best necessarily. I did listen to Shots Fired because of course I gotta, the whole Tory situation. I have to give her respect for that. First off, the song was fire. Second off, she sampled Who Shot Ya. If you sample Who Shot Ya and you body it, I just gotta give you credit. So I'm gonna give Meg her flowers for that. She killed at least the intro. So the female audience, if there's any females watching this, feel free to let me know whether I should actually listen to this album or if you enjoyed it. Yeah, I heard varying reports, but appears like it was solid. We'll see how much it moves first week. And she can justify all these artists of the years she's been receiving. Let's see. Nothing really going on in movies. Oh, well, I guess Wonder Woman is going to be on HBO Max. I think that's what it's called. HBO Max. Whatever their HBO like streaming services. Wonder Woman will be on there and in select theaters. I think we're going to see a lot of movies kind of trend towards that, especially since COVID is not going away as soon as we thought we would because of, I'll refrain from talking about that. But not going away, and because of our situation, I think we'll see more movies do that. I finally finished Korra. I think I talked about that last week though. Blood of Zeus is what I started. Oh my goodness, I really started on my anime train this week. Blood of Zeus, phenomenal. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. If you're into that, you're into Greek mythology, you're into anime, this is perfect. It's perfect. I need season 2 expeditiously, in the words of T.I. I need it. I need it, Netflix. I need it. But yeah, Blood of Zeus, phenomenal. Started Death Note, I've enjoyed it so far. It's living up to the hype so far. Very interesting concept between L and Light. I won't go too much into it, but if you're into anime, of course, you've probably seen this before. I'm a rogue. I'm a newbie, so decided to start off with these two, and I've enjoyed it so far. I'll probably get into more afterwards. And of course, I'll talk about Death Note after I finish it. I have some time left over, so I'm going to kick right into UFC, or combat sports for the week, but really UFC 255. Get straight to the main event. Davison Figueiredo takes out Alex Perez, subbed him in round 1. Fig, honestly, I mean, nobody's really surprised. I think he's going to be a dominant champion in flyweight. Flyweight is such an exciting class. I wish it could be marketed better. But yeah, Figue's got to be, honestly, even though he fights at 125, got to be one of the most intimidating fighters. I mean, dude looks like he kills people for a living. he looks like he kills people for a living. Like, if he wasn't an MMA fighter, this man would be a hitman or something. Like, he looks like he murders people. He takes out Perez in round one. Perez didn't look bad, but I mean, we all knew Fig was going to win that one. Valentina Shevchenko in the co-main event took on Jennifer Maia. We all expected Shev to pretty much put Maia into the Nevin round. That didn't happen. Shev takes the UD. Maia actually took the second round. A lot of people were like, this is about to be the biggest upset ever. Had me got my interest because I was kind of zoned out because I thought this was going to be complete domination. But Maia actually takes a round from Shev. Shev gets the win, of course. She's still on another level, though it's getting a lot more interesting, I think, in that division. It's starting to heat up some at 125. Got some people rising up. I think people are starting to catch up. I don't know if it's Valentina getting complacent or people are just catching up and getting closer to that level. So we'll see. I think this Justin Gerard is probably going to be our next. Oh, for Fig, he's going to be taking on the next person I'm talking about. Brandon Moreno became the #1 contender after Brandon Royval dislocated his shoulder. Unfortunately, because that was going to be a really good fight. And it was a really good fight up to that point. Just unfortunate that he dislocated. I hope that doesn't become a nagging thing, even though I know it can be. Moreno gets fed to Fig next. I know he's been calling for that fight. I still got Fig. Apparently it's going to be a very quick turnaround, like as in they're going to fight next month, like 2 fights within a month for both of them. But both of those were first round finishes, so I can kind of see it. And it's not too crazy. We had a big one from Moreno. He looked good over Royval, but unfortunate injury. I think Royval's going to be back, and I think he's proven he's going to be a contender in this division. Moving on, Mike Perry, everybody's favorite or everybody's least favorite Florida man that's in the UFC. Came in 4 pounds over the weight limit. Still lost to Tim Means. Big win for the Dirty Bird, Tim Means. He gets the UD. Perry, of course, he has no camp really. Well, I mean, he has a camp, but he doesn't really have a team behind him. He has Tori, his girlfriend, who's about to be his baby mom. Don't know where Mike Perry goes from here. He needs some discipline, I think, in his life, and I don't know where he's going to get that. But I think he needs that for him to get back to where he's going to be or wants to be. And to finish off here, Joaquin Buckley, one to watch. Only 26. Of course, you guys may remember him from, I think it was almost, actually probably like a month or two ago. The kick heard around the world. Highlight reel, one of the best KOs you will ever see. He had another one. He was throwing a lot of hooks against Wright. I thought he was going to put him out, and he did. Only loss, I think, in the UFC is to like Kevin Holland, who's starting to rise up in the same division, in that middleweight division. Buckley could be one to watch. Very young and very talented, a lot of power. Very motivated, got a great character, as in great character as a person. He's fun to watch. We'll be following his career with a great interest here on the A15 Exchange for sure. And yeah. Okay, college football, ladies and gentlemen. College football. It's never a quiet week in college football. Never a quiet week. Clemson's game got canceled. We got various reports going out. I don't know what's the truth. Florida State claiming Clemson had a player get COVID and they didn't feel comfortable playing, and apparently he was practicing. Dabo said Florida State was ducking. I mean, both of them could be true, to be honest. Florida State is that low of a program at this point to where they could be ducking because, let's be honest, they're going to get murdered when they play Clemson in December. If that game does go down. And, I mean, Clemson hasn't had the greatest COVID policy so far, so that could also be true. But to the teams that actually played here, USC took out Utah 33-17. First win in Utah since 2012. Just a really good team effort for us. Really good team effort. Keaton, I think I'm readjusting my expectations for him. I wasn't super high on him like everybody else was. I thought he was a good quarterback. Thought maybe he could take the next step, but I haven't seen it so far. We'll see if that's just because of circumstance or what that was. But SC gets the win. We're 2-0. All right, Ohio State took on Indiana in what was pretty much the game of the week, I believe. Even though I know game day was in Bedlam, let's be real, this was the game of the week. Ohio State wins 42-35, even though Penix for Indiana, the quarterback, 27 for 51, 491, 3 touchdowns. Ty Frugal is going to make some NFL team very happy. 7 receptions, 218, 3 touchdowns. Justin Fields, I tweeted this. I think I'll pop this up over here. I'll probably pop it up over here. Justin Fields, I've seen him at high school too, so this was without a doubt the worst game I've ever seen him play. Without a doubt, the worst game I've ever seen Justin Fields play. 3 interceptions. I know he scored and had his moments, but he did not have a good game. Despite what the stat, not even that his stat line looks good, he just did not have a good game. This game was more of a testament to how good that Ohio State team is, to be honest, if I'm being real. And yeah, they get the win, even though the Ohio State defense looks suspect. So suspect. I was starting to think maybe they should jump Notre Dame at that 2 spot, but I'm sorry, that's disrespectful. This Ohio State team has a lot of stuff they need to clean up, though. They still got the win, and the win is a win, but they definitely look human against Indiana, and that may also be a testament to how good Indiana actually is, especially offensively with Penix and Figueiredo, who look like one of the best quarterback wide receiver tandems in the country. Next, we have Florida take on Vandy. They won 38-17. Kyle Trask, under normal circumstances, would absolutely be the Heisman frontrunner. 383 and 3 touchdowns for him, and this was a quiet game, a lot of people were saying. Florida done a great job rebounding for their loss. We'll see how muddy it gets in that top 4. I think this would have been a great year, as I say every single week, and I will continue to say every single week, we need an 18 playoff. But nonetheless, Florida gets the win big for them. Huge game this week. We had Coastal Carolina take on Appalachian State. And ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in many years, there will be a new champion in that conference. App has won it 4 straight years. They will win it this year. Coastal uncrowns App 34-23. Redshirt freshman Grayson McCall, we mentioned him a couple weeks ago as he's been one of the best, I think, freshman quarterbacks. You could argue the best freshman quarterback this year. 269, 3 touchdowns. Zach Thomas, who used to, I think was considered one of the best players, not just quarterbacks, players in that conference. 3 interceptions. He's had a really bad year this year. Not the same Zach Thomas we're used to seeing. And Coastal gets the win. Huge win for them. They remain undefeated. BYU wins 66-14. I'm going to mention their opponent, North Alabama. This is really the Zach Wilson show at this point. 212, 4 touchdowns in 1 half of football. He's my 3rd best QB prospect. I think he's jumped Trey Lance for me. I think Lance actually did more harm to his draft stock in that game, that one game North Dakota State played, and Wilson's done a great job. I knew this was going to happen in terms of guys taking this season off or opting out, and the players that are opted in that put on great performances, I can easily see them jumping in. I think it's going to happen more and more as you see, and I think Wilson's done enough to prove that he should be that 3rd quarterback. In my eyes, at least. Cincy takes out UCF in a phenomenal game, 36-33. Desmond Ridder is one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. I think I can say that amongst a bunch of great quarterbacks. 21 for 32, 338, 4 TDs. He's been phenomenal this year. He keeps it up. I think he honestly might need to be, and since he keeps it up and keeps winning, he needs to get some, Heisman hype here. I think he needs to be in that conversation since he can keep this going. But big win against UCF in the AAC. UCF, who's lately been one of the better teams in that conference. Cincy did a great job proving themselves. Next game we had Northwestern Wisconsin. I mean, good old classic Big Ten football, 17-7. If you like punts and defense, this was the game for you. Wisconsin takes their first L of the season, I believe. Northwestern still undefeated. Shout out to Pat Fitzgerald. Oregon beats UCLA 38-35. Show 19 for 30, 334 and 3 touchdowns. USC transfer Devon Williams, 6 receptions, 123 yards, 1 touchdown. So good performance through the air for them. Oregon has not looked that impressive at all. I don't think the Pac-12 is going to have a representative. Justin Flo, highly recruited, highly touted baby man, highly talked about freshman, towards meniscus during the week. But even so, I don't think the Pac-12 is going to have a representative in the playoff, if I'm being honest. And Oregon is just, they've not been that impressive. Shout out to UCLA, though, even though that hurts me to say. Shout out to them because they had a pretty solid performance. Oregon's supposed to be the elite team, and they gave them pretty much all they could handle and nearly knocked them off. Bedlam went like how you would expect Oklahoma State to go at this point. 41-13. I don't even need to say the winner. Spencer Rattler 301, 4 touchdowns. Ramondre Stevenson has done wonders for this Oklahoma team and really helped push them back after that rough start Oklahoma had. His coming back and incorporation into the run game and into the offense has really done wonders. And Oklahoma is playing like how you would expect Oklahoma to play. Also, Rattler, like I said, he would get better throughout the year, and he's getting better. He's getting towards what people think he would be, and that's an elite quarterback in the college football world, and eventually first rounder. NC State takes out undefeated Liberty, 15-14. Malik Willis had an awful game, threw 3 interceptions. NC State blocks a field goal to win the game. 15-14, not the prettiest game. But State does what they need to do. Liberty, you had a good run, but your run is over, unfortunately. Time for you to fall down the rankings. Georgia took on Mississippi State, 31-24, and I have questions. I have so many questions, Kirby Smart. I got so many questions for you. I don't quite understand. Was he still hurt? Why was JT Daniels not? Was he trying to get the offense? Why was JT Daniels not your starting quarterback from the jump? JT Daniels should have been your starting quarterback from the jump. I'm a USC fan, so maybe it's because I knew. But he is clearly the best quarterback on that team. You had a quarterback this whole time, and you did not play him. 401 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns for JT. I knew he was a monster. If Keaton didn't take his job, he would have been a monster at USC right now. They take out Mississippi State. Their defense did not look great compared to past weeks. I know they're dealing with a lot of injuries and some stuff over there. But UGA has a quarterback. We'll see how that makes them do for the rest of the season. Also in the SEC, Kentucky gets sacrificed by Alabama, 63-60. Devontae Smith, one of the best receivers in the country, 9 receptions, 122, 2 touchdowns. Bryce Young got in the game. I think I might have gotten into this game for Alabama. This was a slaughter. This was murder on live television, live from the SEC network. We saw Kentucky get put down. Alabama just put this program down. Took them out. I don't even know if this qualifies as a football game. Bama 63-3, rightful number 1 team in the country. And yeah, without further ado, that brings us to our roundup. Yes. We are almost done with the episode. Quinn Ewers to Ohio State is the big news from college football recruiting. Said it was going to happen when he decommitted from Texas. I talked about that a couple episodes ago. Ohio State's 2022 class is going to be ridiculous. And Ewers is the start. the start of what could be a wave. I feel bad for Michigan fans, even though your CG found a quarterback. I know I didn't mention this last segment, but Cade McNamara showed out for y'all. Maybe y'all have a quarterback. You're still not going to beat Ohio State, especially when they're getting a guy like Quinn. Ewers, number two player in the country. Some would argue the number one player in the country, as he's listed at on different sites. I'm going by the composite. That's what I deem over my rankings. He's currently number 2, may end up number 1, let's be honest. I haven't seen a quarterback this high or this deemed on this level since Trevor Lawrence, if that puts you into perspective at this young. Ewers to Ohio State. Texas fans, straight pain, straight pain, straight pain. What else? I guess I'll talk about high school basketball again. This was on my notes, but the Burlington school took on Lake Norman here in the Hoop State. Mikey Williams and Lake Norman's first true entrance here into welcoming. This was the welcoming party into the Hoop State. Mikey proved he belonged. 40 points. I know he was taking on. It was a big matchup. It got really personal because of comments that shout to the 336, Khalil Nathing, and Jamari Thomas said during the week. Yeah, I gotta put respect on their names as well. Jamari, great product. Knew he was gonna reach these heights. I'm not really surprised that. I think he's still underrated. I think he proved in this game that he can play with top level competition. Not that anybody from the city, not that anybody from Hoop State, from North Carolina knew or did not know that. We all kind of knew. I've known about Jamari Thomas since he was catching touchdowns for High Point Christian. Yeah, great game from him. Khalil also had a good game. But Mikey got to give credit where it's due. He got the dub. He got 40 points. Nice little 40 ball for him. He proved he belonged. He proved he's got the stuff to play in this state. Not that anybody really doubted. He's the number 3 player in the country behind DJ. So he proved that. Played much better than he did against Oak Hill. And yes, this was comp for a lot of people asking questions. Is he playing comp? This was comp. This was adequate comp. So good win for them. Yeah. I think that's about it. NBA, I know a lot of people have questions. Free agency going on. Draft just happened. I'll see. I think I'm going to do something later in the week. I'm trying to figure that out. But yeah, that's all for episode 16 at least. Without further ado, Ocho, signing off.